What's cracking, dude? So we have some dried arbol chiles that we're gonna make a beautiful hot sauce out of them. I love how they smell too. I mean, they smell spicy. Of course, they're a spicy pepper. To put it in perspective, they're sitting about 15,000 to 30,000 on the Scoville scale, so they're decently spicy. They have a little bit of like a smokiness to it. Right in the back, they have some grassy tones. They smell super, super good. So that's gonna make a fantastic hot sauce. All right, so that ingredient list is quite simple for this hot sauce. So let's go over that really quick, and then we'll start making that sauce. There are 10 total ingredients that make up this sauce. First, we're going to talk about these dried arbol chilies. So I rinse them under running cold water and let them air dry. Some of them will have a stem. Just go ahead and cut those off. I'm leaving the seeds in the pods because I'm going to end up straining the sauce out eventually, so that's not a big deal. 2 whole limes that are going to get zested. I'm looking to get about a tablespoon and a half of zest, and we're going to eventually juice them later on. I have a stem's worth of fresh oregano, 4 garlic cloves. So the oregano, I'm just gonna pick the leaves off the stems, and that is that. No chopping of the oregano is necessary. The garlic cloves, I cut the root end off, give the garlic clove a smash, I get rid of that outer papery layer, and I'm cutting each clove of garlic in half. 1 shallot, same thing as a garlic, I cut that root end off, get rid of that outer papery layer, and I'm gonna cut that shallot into 6 pieces. 1 tablespoon's worth of salt, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 cups of filtered water, and last but not least, 1 cup of distilled white vinegar. So these chilies need to get rehydrated, which I'm going to do by heating up a large saute pan over medium-low heat. I'm going to drop those chilies into the saute pan along with the cumin seeds. The first step that we're going to do is we're going to toast the chili pods and the cumin seeds. This is going to extract all those volatile oils that they have in them naturally, therefore pulling out as much flavor out of the chili and the cumin seeds as much as possible. Even though we have the saute pan on medium-low heat, these will still burn rather quickly, so I make sure to stir them frequently. Just be careful with them because I'm not trying to break them completely apart. You can tell when they're getting close to being done because they are going to become a lot more fragrant, and they're going to start getting a little bit of a color on the outside of it. This chili that I'm showing you right here has a little bit of coloring to it, but I'm going to let it go for another 30 seconds or so. Just be very careful because you want to make sure that you're stirring these frequently because you don't want them to burn. I'm looking for them to be a little bit more toasted, like these 2 chili pods that I'm showing you right here. After the chilies and the cumin have been toasted, I go in with the shallot and the garlic. In goes the 2 cups of water. Next goes in 1/2 cup of that distilled white vinegar. In goes that lime zest, about a tablespoon and a half worth, and crank that heat up to high because we want to bring this liquid up to a boil. Again, we're making sure to stir it frequently because we don't want the chilies to burn on the bottom of the pan. Now I hit them with a pinch of salt. Let's kind of extract a little bit of sweetness from the garlic and the shallots. Now we're up to a boil. Cover the pan with a lid, reduce the heat to medium-low, and set a timer for 15 minutes. This is essentially going to blanch the peppers and the garlic and the shallots, making them softer. I cover it because I don't want all that liquid to evaporate either. After the 15 minutes is done, I go in with the oregano, stir it gently once again, and I'm going to put the lid back on. Set another timer for 5 minutes. These are essentially going to blanch for a total of 20 minutes. You'll know when they're done because the garlic will be soft, and when you grab one of those chili pods, you could easily bend them without them snapping in half. I mean, they feel soft, they feel cooked. You could let the ingredients cool slightly if you choose to do so before blending them up, but I'm just going to go straight to it. In a NutriBullet container, I'm going to toss in all the ingredients that are in that saute pan. And I want enough liquid in that container where it fills up that container just so that it's level with the ingredient. The amount of liquid that you put into the container really controls how thick you want your sauce essentially. So I'm not really quite satisfied with the water level, so I'm adding about 1/2 cup worth or so into the container just so that the water level is level with the ingredients. My blender attachment has 6 blades on it, which is perfect for pureeing. I mean, this is going to get completely obliterated. If you have a higher power blender, then this will work even better than a NutriBullet, but this is what I have to work with. I love how the color changes too between the raw ingredients to the cooked ingredients to the blended ingredients. I love that dark red. It's kind of hard to check how thick the sauce is, so I'm going to unscrew that blade attachment and I'm just going to dip a ladle in there and see how thick that sauce is. This is a personal preference. If you want it thinner, add more water, which I'm going to do, and then just blend it up again. But if you want it thicker, just don't add more water, essentially. All the water is doing there is adjusting consistency. I'm not worried about it diluting the flavor whatsoever because this has a ton of flavor already as it is. I like smoother sauces, so I strained my sauce out through a fine mesh strainer, and I'm catching the sauce in a glass mixing bowl. Using a ladle, kind of gently forcing that sauce through the fine mesh strainer, and what is left behind are the seeds and the pulp. Now, of course, you could always dry that out and grind it up and add it to some salt, and you have your own homemade seasoned salt if you want to do that too. Now that it's all strained out, I go in with that lime juice. That's 2 limes that are going to get squeezed, which equates to about a tablespoon's worth of lime juice. Tongs actually work really good for squeezing limes really hard if you can't get the hand power to do so. Next goes in the 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and just give it a gentle whisk. Make sure you dissolve all that brown sugar and fully incorporate that lime juice. This sauce is hot enough that it really does a good job at dissolving that sugar. In total, this recipe will give you about 2.5 cups worth of hot sauce. I like keeping mine in mason jars, but if you have hot sauce bottles, then you could obviously keep yours in there. Just make sure you cool them off completely before you put a cap on it. Checking the pH on it, it's actually sitting right around 3.6. Dude, it'll keep in the refrigerator for a good 6 months, but I highly doubt that that would even last that long because I'm going to use it on everything. So good. Definitely very happy with this sauce. Came out absolutely amazing. I mean, good amount of heat, nice flavors in it. I could definitely taste that lime juice right up front. And then at the tail end, you could get those grassy tones and that smokiness. It's such a beautiful sauce. That sauce has such a pretty color. It's almost like a bright burnt red. I love it.